Hey, welcome back to What's Burning here on Lake TV. And from time to time, I like to stir things up just a little bit. So I talked to my good friend here, Peyton Emery. He's with the Missouri Department of Conservation. And I said, Peyton, my friend, how about bringing in some snakes, some indigenous snakes that you would see in the area? Because I don't know about you, but I've looked on social media and people put a picture. Can you tell me what kind of snake this is? Is this a venomous snake? Do I need to be scared? Well, I would always say, quite frankly, if you're not sure, get the heck away from the snake. That's normally how it works. But we asked Peyton to come in here today and bring several snakes, one of which is on the counter here, but it is just a model of a copperhead. I don't think you could get a copperhead to be that relaxed in the situation we're in.
No, we want to be that relaxed.
No, you're quite right. I'm still a little, well, not uncomfortable, but let's talk a little bit about some of these snakes that we brought in, and if you'd like to grab either one. We saved the big box for last, by the way. We just want everybody to know. I'm not quite sure what's in there, but we're going to find out here shortly. So let's grab one of these containers with one of these good-looking snakes in it, and get it out for people to see. This is what?
Well, this is going to be the first snake we've got, and it's called it's a king snake is what it is, and it's a speckled king snake. Western speckled king snake is what we have here in Missouri.
Right.
These are very friendly snakes, especially this one. This is a very friendly. Hold him, he's just going to slither around, and he's really smooth right now because he just shed his skin. But just like all other non-venomous snakes, this one's going to have the round pupils right here, and this is a very recognizable snake. This is probably one of my more favorite snakes, mostly because it likes to eat other snakes. This one will actually eat venomous snakes because it doesn't get affected by the venom.
Apparently, I understand the speckled king snake likes to eat its own mother-in-law. Just thought I'd put that out there today. Is that something that would be okay for me to try and hold? Or?
Absolutely. This is probably the more friendlier one that I brought today.
Look at that. And if you wonder whether or not snakes are slimy, folks, they're really not too slimy unless, of course, they're shedding their skin. Then they get a little slimy.
Yep.
And you help them out with that. That's a beautiful snake. And you see these snakes all over the Lake of the Ozarks area. And what's really neat about them is when you see them, like, say, in an open field someplace and the sun hits them, and they're pretty awesome. And I think this is probably one of the more, would you say, distinctive snakes when you see it?
Absolutely. Every time you see this snake, you're going to know what it is.
Beautiful snake, and just kind of hanging out, checking everything out. You said these snakes traditionally eat other snakes, but the good news is when you see snakes around your home, you don't see a whole lot of mice, you don't see a whole lot of bugs, and apparently you don't see a whole lot of other snakes if you see a speckled king snake. What are there any snakes that kind of get confused with the speckled king snake?
Not really with the speckled king snake. We have another king snake, but it's not really commonly found. But this one is, you'll hear these as the salt and pepper king snake or salt and pepper snake.
Very nice.
But this is very distinctive of what it is.
Do you rent these out to people? This is pretty awesome.
They're pretty common. If you look in your backyard long enough, I'm sure you're going to find one.
Right on. Right on.
It likes you.
Well, that's good to know. It beats the alternative.
Yep.
So this is the speckled king snake. So what else did you bring us here today? Let's take that one and put it over there. Do you mind if I pick this up? Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If we're going to get bit by a snake, it's going to be that one.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good to know. That's probably a good idea to get that out of the way right now.
So this second one is going to be a rat snake, or most commonly known as a black snake.
R-A-T, rat.
You'll see this just about everywhere. You'll see it in the water. The reason why we'd get bit by this one is this one's going through the shedding process.
Okay, well then you're going to hold on to that one. I'm not going to touch it.
But I think he's going to be pretty friendly today.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
His eyes are kind of fogged up, so he doesn't exactly know what's going on. And he's just being really friendly with us today. If you look real closely to that, his eyes are kind of foggy there.
Yeah.
But this one will be confused with like a water snake or anything like that. You can see a little pattern like that. People may see the white or yellow bottom on that and think that it's like a cottonmouth or a water moccasin.
You want to get his head away from my face. And these snakes traditionally eat what?
They'll eat rodents. They'll eat bird eggs, birds, anything of that nature.
Yeah. So again, these are good good pest removal snakes to have around the house. If you see one, best course of action, just leave the darn thing alone. It'll find its own way. It's more than likely looking for some dinner.
Looking for some dinner. Trying to warm up if you see it on the side of the road.
Very nice. Do these snakes have names? Does this snake have a name?
Nope, we don't name our snakes that we use for display. We just try to keep it with nature.
Holding on pretty tight there.
Yeah, they constrict.
I think it likes my cologne. Let me slide my hand right out of there. You got that?
Yep.
All right. Not trying to get too aggressive with you there, buddy. Just trying to let you kind of do your own thing.
Yeah.
And again, these are snakes that you would find around your house. Maybe, as you said, is this something you would find around a body of water? A lot of people probably see those like around the shoreline.
Yep, you'll see these if you got a bunch of dead wood or an old barn or some shack that you're not using. These guys will use it. They want to go where the rodents are. They want to go where the birds' nests are. So I think without a lot of human touch, the rats are going to want to be there.
Well, thank you so much for making an appearance on the program. Beautiful, and I appreciate the fact that you behaved yourself there. So we've got one other snake. I'll put this one back out of the way for you here, and we can get to the giant box, the mystery box, if you will. What we did is we took a bunch of cards, and we had people fill them out, and somebody was supposed to stick their hand in there and pull out the winning card. That's not the winning card, but... We are just going to take our time and be as patient as humanly possible. No sudden movements. Look at that. That is awesome. Peyton Emery, what have you got there?
Well, this is a bull snake. This is going to be one of the closer looking ones that we got to this copperhead, just because of its cool looking colors. You can look at its tail right here, and it's kind of got that little pattern right there where it'd be confused with maybe a rattlesnake if you've seen it out in the woods. But these are normally found in a prairie, and we're getting down to the southern end of this one's home, but we'll find these right around the Lake of the Ozarks. Any flat areas, taller grass, these will like to hang around because these like to eat birds and stuff, just like the other snake. This is our largest snake in Missouri. They're pretty cool looking. You can
they are.
You get them like this, and they get this bright, cool color, and you can see them, but they look mean.
Well, you could see how somebody might confuse this with a copperhead. It's very easy to do, especially if you're not familiar with copperheads and other types of snakes. Somebody sees this, they're not quite sure what's going on, and the next thing you know, everybody's freaking out. But you can see a little bit from the model that we have here on the counter as to what the differences are, obviously. But people, in a lot of cases, if you run into a snake, what is the best course of action as far as the Missouri Department of Conservation?
Just avoid it. There's no point in needing to mess with a snake. Sometimes if I see a snake on the road, I'll stop and I'll grab it and I'll move it off the side of the road because I see people hit snakes all the time, and it's sad because these snakes don't deserve to get hit like that. They're just trying to warm up. But
taking a little time to maybe get a quick tan out there on the asphalt.
Yep, and they'd like to do that. They don't produce their own body heat, so they gotta steal it from somewhere, and that sun is a good source.
Yeah, so you see them out there in the afternoon or evening, getting a little sunshine.
Yep,
just
especially
leave them
on
the
a
heck
cooler
alone.
day.
Yeah, absolutely. So one other thing we wanted to talk a little bit about is the venomous snake versus the non-venomous snake. Maybe you could point out some differences for us.
Yep, so there's a couple differences here. So we'll use this bull snake as an example. He looks kind of mean and he looks aggressive because of all his patterns and everything, and that's kind of the point. He doesn't want to be messed with something. So this copperhead right here, if you look closely at its head, you can see that it's kind of got this arrow-looking shape, kind of a diamond shape towards it. That's one way that you can tell most of our snakes in Missouri that are venomous have this. If you look closely at their eye, which I don't really suggest getting close enough that you can look at their eye, but these have a straight up and down eye, kind of like whenever a cat narrows its eye. It's kind of that nature. If you look at this snake, he was looking directly at me, but he's kind of got round pupils, if you can look at that. And those round pupils are distinctive of non-venomous. Look at the patterns on this snake right here. You got pretty straight patterns, and then it's all right here on the side of speckles. This copperhead, if we're going to look at a copperhead, because some people say that they have different colors, and some may be darker, some may be lighter. This copperhead, if you're looking at it from the side, you'll see a Hershey's Kiss, just like that.
Nice.
And if you look at it from the top, you'll see an hourglass, and that's very distinctive of a copperhead. That's probably the best way to identify a copperhead without getting too close. Just like copperheads, a rattlesnake, a copperhead will shake its tail whenever it feels threatened. So even if a snake is shaking its tail, doesn't mean it's venomous or non-venomous, because a bull snake will shake its tail. The king snake will shake its tail. But copperheads will also shake their tail. Baby copperheads will have this bright yellow or bright orange tail on it too. This isn't a baby, so we don't have an example of it. But that's one way to identify one snake like this apart from a copperhead whenever you go out and actually see one.
But again, if you're at all in question about what's in front of you, just stay the heck away from it, and you should be in pretty good shape. Missouri Department of Conservation has a number of pamphlets, booklets, and other things that you can utilize to maybe get to be a little bit more familiar with the snakes in your region.
Absolutely. It's this booklet right here. It's the Guide to Missouri Snakes. You can go to any of our offices and pick one up. And it talks about every snake we have here in Missouri. I mean, obviously, if you go to maybe our border counties, you'll see some outlier, but this covers most of them.
This is kind of what it looks like here on the cover, and these are normally free publications, aren't they?
Yep.
So they're easy to pick up. Call your local conservation office, and the folks are happy to help you out. Hey, listen, man, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day. Thank you for what you and all the officers do. We want to send a special shout out to Tyler Brown, who's recovering from a work-related injury. We miss you, buddy, and we hope to get you back in here soon. Thanks. The Snakes all did a great job. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
This is Peyton Emery from the Missouri Department of Conservation. We've got more coming up right here on What's Burning on Lake TV.